Okay, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. All my dear viewers, I'm here again with a live streaming. Um, and today's topic is again going to have a very great impact, inshallah, because we will be talking about Islamic parenting. So, what exactly Muslims need to do as far as the contemporary issues are concerned, and how to raise or develop how to raise a child who is much more confident, and you can have some better bonding in your relationship. That's what we are going to discuss in this particular live streaming, inshallah. So stay tuned till the end of the video and keep interacting, inshallah, because that helps me to get motivated to talk, and also helps me to get engaged, inshallah. So as parents, we have been into parenting field without any manual, right? We don't know, we have no manuals given to us, but all that trial and error basis, we've been doing all the things, and somewhere we are stuck in between. We get low feelings, we feel guilty about our mistakes. There are so many things that are happening. Unlike the previous generation who used to have, 5 to 10 children, but they were able to manage them very well. But right now, in this modern era, the new generation is, though we have just 2 or 3 children, or maximum, I can say 4, despite all these nuclear families around us, and we have so many other amenities and so many other facilities here. Despite all of that, we are facing challenges here. We are not able to raise our children the way we want them to be, or we are having so many things around us that we feel confused, we feel we are low, or we feel, oh, we are guilty about mistakes, or maybe we also have that fear in us that whether I can be the right parent or not. Some parents come to me and tell me that I am not at all confident about my own parenting. I feel that I'm not a good parent, I'm not good enough. So all these things are there, and it's quite common these days because we've seen so many other personalities, or celebrities, maybe in the social media or somewhere, even as the status that we see on WhatsApp. Everywhere we find and we feel that, okay, she is better than me, or this parent is far better and she's doing so many things for her child and I'm not doing, so I'm not a good parent. So these things are very common these days, and I want to give a slight information about what is happening right now, what are the challenges we are facing, and what can be done to overcome these challenges, inshallah. Okay, so very first thing is I want to tell you that we are we are responsible for the family that we have, or we have been shouldered that responsibility by Almighty with an intention. So what is that intention? It is already stated in the Holy Quran. "Qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara." What do you mean by this? That is, save yourself and your family from the hellfire, the torments of hell. So whatever is having, whatever problems you have, the first thing that we need to do is see that we are abstaining our family, ourselves and our family from the hellfire, from the torments, or from that particular dangerous situation that we may have to go in. May Allah protect all of us. So this is something that we do, and what happens is most of us are very much into Islamic parenting. When we say they are too rigid in this matter, which creates lot of, again, some problems in children's mind. So we need to be in such a way that, though we are responsible, of course, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam also said that kullukum ra'in wa kullukum ra'in wa kullukum mas'ulun an ra'iyatihi. That is, each one of you is a ra'i, or ra'i means it's a shepherd, or he is responsible for all his flocks, and you will be questioned. You are accountable for all that what you've been doing, or the responsibility that has been given to you. So shouldering the responsibility, of course, both the parents, I mean to say, it's both parent, father and the mother, are responsible for all these, but at the same time, how to create a balance so that it doesn't burden, or you are not overburdening yourself or nor your children in this matter. So children also should not feel that my parents are too rigid compared to others, and he's comparing himself his family and his parents with his friends, and then he is trying to create a particular situation where he feels hatred towards his own parents. This should never happen. Okay, we have to go and balance all these situations. So how can we be responsible in our parenting journey? Let us just discuss about this. So if I have to ask you, like, uh, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already told in the Quran also that all your money and your children or your offsprings are said to be an illusion, or it is a test. It may be that you don't know what you need to do. So there is some kind of a path that we need to follow, uh, something that is called siratal mustaqim, that we need to follow, and we need to uh, I mean to say, um, have some boundaries set so that we don't go beyond it. Okay, this is what we need to do. But focusing on certain things and excluding certain other things, this becomes a problem. So we will be discussing about these things. So thank you for joining. Whoever has joined, just let me know where are you from, so that it becomes easy for me also to get interacting with you and letting you know, to let me know what exactly you are expecting from this particular session, inshallah. Now, what are the challenges that we have right now as parents? Of course, there are so many things, so many challenges out there. If I have to talk about, like, children are not listening, they are not respecting, screen addiction, toxic. Yes, so detoxifying the screen has become a biggest challenge for all the parents out there. So I'm going to discuss about that as well in my later sessions today. I'm going to talk at the end about screen addiction as well, inshallah, and why children are not listening to us. So what is this? Why that disobedience is there? Why children are very stubborn? So all these things. There is also some parents come to us and say children are not having concentration. They don't focus on one particular thing. Too fidgety. Just they just go and they don't sit in one place, and they are hyperactive, and maybe they have ADHD. So all that judgments are, said only by the parents. So it is already diagnosed just before the child is turning 2. The parents have already diagnosed it, and they have self-named it, and they label the child to be ADHD or autistic, and some symptoms are seen, and they just start labeling the child. So this is what is happening, and the main important thing is no connection, no rapport, or no building of that bond between parents and children. This has become a severe drawback, and it has become so impactful that children don't want to listen to their parents at all. So this is mainly because of the connection, or that bonding, the level of bonding that we have. So I personally would give you a one task for all the parents out there. Try to recite and study, or research has to be done on Surah Yusuf, because one of these surahs, that amazing teachings that we get from Surah Yusuf is, I can have a session on this particular thing in my in my upcoming sessions. I'm going to talk about this, inshallah. But this has got amazing learnings that each and every parent should know. So as parents, it is our responsibility, it's our duty to learn and get back to our holy scriptures, so that you get some insights. What are the teachings or the learnings that I need to imbibe and follow in my daily routine? So amazing things, incredible thoughts that pop up when we learn about Surah Yusuf, and how Yusuf alayhi salam was able to get that confidence, of being a small boy, a lad who doesn't even know anything about the life, and he is just going and getting into that position wherein he is on the top of the level and top of the position he is recruited, and at the same time that level of confidence, that level of honesty also, and how he is able to get back that power. All these things, amazing things you can see in Surah Yusuf. So try to recite that with see and try to have a small research done, because as parents we need to have that, because that's the best tarbiyah, the form of tarbiyah that parents need to know through Surah Yusuf. Okay, so what exactly are the things that we need to do as parents? We have to understand certain things here. Now, if I ask you, when does tarbiyah begin, or when do we train our child? When is that we begin our tarbiyah? It is not at the age of 4. Because usually when I ask this question to people around me, in my workshop also, when I ask, people say it's when the child turns 4, when we ask them to go to school, that's where we start our tarbiyah, or our disciplining, or that's how we teach our children. So actually, the word teaching, this is something which is associated too much with parents, but we have outsourced it to our schools and education system. We have outsourced it to our teachers, and only they will teach. We need not. This is the concept that we have right now. Most of our parents also have agreed to this point, and that's why I'm just giving you that with full confidence. I'm telling you this because parents have told us also, when we are interacting with people, we have got one-on-one sessions with parents, and that's where I understand that parents are not at all aware of certain things, some common things, some basic things that we need to understand, that teaching our children is not actually the responsibility of teachers or the institutions. It's all about ourselves. So learning can happen anywhere and everywhere. So anything that you want, it's your responsibility as parents to teach. And tarbiyah begins not at the age of 4, but before the birth of the child. Or I can say it's during the pregnancy. Now, how does it happen? I would ask you one question here. Have you ever come across situation, have you come across some of the companies, for example, it may be Baskin Robbins, or Starbucks, or maybe Nestle? What is the common thing that you can find under these companies, or the well-established companies, I would say? What is one commonality that you find here? If you know it, you can comment it in this comment section, inshallah. So what is that something which you'll find, one common term or one commonality that you find under these things? It could be McDonald's, or Starbucks, or anything of that sort. Why is that? What is that particular commonality that you find? Anybody in the comment section? They all belong to Jewish company. Okay, they all are Jews. Now, I'm not considering any particular communal things here. I'm not trying to focus anything here, but I would like to give you a shift. Like I want you to bring that attention to this particular thing. Why is that Jews are very much successful? Is it because God is favoring them, or some kind of soft corner towards one particular community? No, nothing of that sort. But why? Why? What is the reason behind this? That Jews are successful, or what is that particular secret? That is what something I want to reveal here. Okay, so the secret is that these parents, whoever was expecting, the mother who was expecting, started doing incredible things when she came to know that she is conceived. When she understood that, okay, I am conceiving, and I'm getting a baby soon. What she did was she started becoming proactive, or she started calculating math problems. I'm not telling you that you have to have some, trigonometry and all these theorems you have to calculate and all that stuff. No, simple math problems. Something that she is also not aware of, little bit, whatever she has to go, some small research done, and small things can be done, but some small calculations, reading books, getting into exercise, all these things were commonly done by the Jewish mothers. And that brought incredible change, or that particular, phenomenal change in the child's development in the womb itself. That created that that particular development in the child. So this was the secret that Jews have created. So why not do it? Because this is something simple, and this is the kind of revolution that we can do as parents. So the very first thing that we parents need to do, understand that tarbiyah begins at the in the womb itself. And when the child is reaching the age of 4, almost 50% of that neural pathways that are created in the womb are already fixed. And then it starts use, and it's like a use and throw mechanism, like use or throw mechanism. So if you use it, it will be developed. If you don't use, it will be erased out of that particular brain, or that neural pathways are getting invalid sometimes. So what happens is, the more you use it, it becomes very active. So what is that particular development that we need to do? We have to understand, because when the child is reaching in the womb, during the 26th week, what happens? The sound development and the brain development also takes place. Okay, so when you have these things, you have to understand what kind of sounds should my child listen to. Consciously understand it. Why my child has to listen to all that unwanted things? Why not listen to something which is productive, and make my child's hearing system, that auditory system, can be much more advanced if I make him consciously listen to certain things that I want him to listen. Okay, so there are certain stages, like for example, some stages where we want our children to do what we want. Okay, they are not, because they are totally independent. I'm sorry, they are totally depending on all that what we are doing. So we are clothing them, we are feeding them, whatever we do, they listen to us. They have no other choice. But after that, after a certain period of time, they simply don't listen. They need their own choices, their own preferences, and their own priorities as well. So they don't want to listen to what our parents, what we say to them, right? So we need to take that conscious decision of what my child has to listen, when I make him listen to things that that needs to be developed. So this has to be you can't compromise in this matter. You have to be very, very conscious about this. And tarbiyah begins, as I told, in the house or at home. Tarbiyah, because now you have so many other fitnas around you. You have people who are very rude, or backbiting, or some kind of maybe screen addictions, or people are back answering, some kind of fitna everywhere. You have so many other things. But as parents, we need to develop, or we need to understand all these circumstances and how to handle them very carefully. Try to have a roadmap, right? Try to have some journaling done, or what can I do to help myself or help my children be on the safer side? What should I do as a parent? So some small journaling can help you in this matter, and this will make your the child's development also, in that level of tarbiyah also, you will be able to engage yourself. So as I was talking about the Jewish pattern, what is to do, even now what they do is they start developing languages also during pregnancy. So language development also, almost everything, they start learning new languages also. Can you imagine that? Pregnant woman is learning new language just because the child has to develop that cognitive skills in the brain. So these things are very common in Jews. So I don't think it is something that we cannot follow. Yeah, everybody, each and everyone can follow this if we are willing to, until and unless we plan to conceive. So if you are planning, if you are a mother, or planning to conceive, or you are expecting, then this is the right time for you to have developmental changes in your womb, or the baby that is still to born or yet to born. Now what happens is, what can be done during the initial stages or initial the birth of the child? What are the things that we can do in order to have that tarbiyah in the right format? The first thing is make them, we need to go on listening to people, understand the things around us, learn something new every day. So what happens? The child is watching, although the child's eye is totally blurred and he cannot see anything at the time of the birth. Even the mother's face cannot be seen clearly because the surroundings, everywhere it can see only the blurred image. The child cannot see anything, it can only hear. We can feel when you touch the child, can feel, okay, my mother is touching, my mother's sound is heard, everything can be heard, and it can be felt, but it cannot see properly. The child, even though he cannot see properly, he is able to understand and learn so many things in and around what is happening, because those neural pathways are created as soon as the child is born. So start reading books aloud, or recite Quran, or something that you want consciously. The child has to listen, askars, zikrs, or whatever, some duas, you can do it. Anything that you want from your spiritual books, you can start reading out, reciting out very loudly, so that the child is able to hear everything. Work on IQ and EQ as well. Start reading books in this matter, in this regard, and make it a point that you develop all these skills in the child. Start reading loudly. There itself, the child is able to follow the words. Some vocabulary, cognitive skills are improved right at the time of birth. Okay. Now, also make it a point that you are very consistent in your duas. Praying for your children is very important. So start at the time of the birth itself, or even before that, start praying for your child. What Rabbana hablana min azwajina wa dhurriyyatina qurrata a'yun waj'alna lil There are so many other duas that we have. Start praying all these duas. You need to recite it every now and then, because we want our children to be the coolness of our eyes, and Allah is the only one who can give this to us, right? So try to do that, try to bring that particular conscious effort to seek Almighty's help, and see that you become more proactive. And here I would like to even say that the parent, even in the sense now, of course, mothers are taking that trouble, but fathers don't usually. I mean, almost 60 to 70% of the fathers are not much concerned about the pregnancy, or the early motherhood, or all that stuff. They're not bothered much about it. So my personal concern is for all the fathers out there. Try to be more caring towards that particular mother who is having that sacrifices done. Now she's sacrificing so many things, having mood swings. It's not easy. Sometimes you have craving, food craving sometimes. I don't know if you have got it or you have experienced it. Some people want to have, some restaurant biryanis, some pani puris, or, these kinds of cravings. I don't know. But people tell that, having such craves for food. Food craving is something common. It's all because of that hormonal changes that are taking place in the body, and it mood swings. It's something common, because everything totally, all her internal body changes, external body also changes because of a certain that metabolical change takes place, and that is something natural. So when those things are done, of course, all that intellectual, some kind of wants also begin, some unwanted things also. You start weird things you start demanding for. So this is something common, and as fathers, we need to respond to all that things, because something, it is an inner being is being developed there. One more life is being developed there, and this has to be, when that growth is taking place, you can't understand, you don't feel that particular changes that is taking place in the mother's womb. And you may say that it's something common. You're not the only mother. Of course, you're not the only mother, but she is the only mother to your child. You need to understand that. Of course, maybe mothers are there, fathers are also there, children are also there. But for you, it It is your child's mother. So take care of your spouse even before the child's birth and start taking that responsibility. So this is very important as parents and as fathers. It's my humble request that you need to listen or you need to take care, extra effort to take care of your child's mother. Okay. So Islam again tells about the different levels of parenting. For example, you may be knowing about what Umar says. It's like the parenting is divided into three divisions or three stages. First seven stage, mid seven stage, and the final seven stages. So what is that stage? Three stages are there, which is very, very important. The first level is, I can say, 0 to 7 years is nothing but the toy stage. Toys, almost playing every time, being very friendly to the child, childish kind of behavior. As the child wants, we just simply play, play, play. That's it. Just talking to the child and bringing that very good bonding and that relationship in the very beginning. Being there for all that what the child needs, and this is the intellectual need of the child. Okay. The child who has got physical touch and physical talks everywhere, every time whenever the child needed that, and when that is available to the child, the development also was exponentially high. Okay, this is the research that tells us. So there was a small research I want to share with you, a small research that was done by one of the hospitals. Okay, so what happens is the doctors collected at 5 to 10 babies and they kept in a row, like first row where two rows were made, and the first row was that only the physical needs of the child was met. Okay, the first row children, babies, only the physical needs like feeding them, taking care of the diapers and all that things was done. The first row. The second row, children were given all kinds of nourishments like physical touches, kisses, talking to the child and everything. Those children were given all kinds of even their intellectual needs were met, I would say. So it so happened that they had to stop that research within 24 to 48 hours. What was the reason behind this? Children in the first row started developing symptoms like food poisoning or stomach ache, and some kind of disturbances were there in the child, in these children, all those 5 children. Just imagine. So out of 10, 5 children were having these symptoms, which was something natural. It means that only feeding the child is not sufficient for the overall development. For a holistic development or growth, child needs that physical contact, that touch and kiss and talking and all that stuff. So cuddling, everything, nurturing the child the way it needs to, this is very important. Next comes the sponge stage, or the stage, the second, the mid stage, 7 to 14 years of age. This is the age where we start developing, disciplining the child, like what has to be done, what are the rules, regulations, and all that stuff. We are telling them what has to be done. So this is the time where we allow them to go to masjid. I mean, of course, earlier also in the first stage also we allow them, but the thing is, we preferably we predominantly take them to the masjid along with the parents, right? So these things has to be bringing it has to bring an awareness in our parenting journey also, that children need to go to masjid because they have to understand what is the scenario, what is that discipline all about, all standing in a row, following the leader, and each and everyone is similar to each other. You don't have to differentiate between your friends and something like that, your leaders. So all are the same. So all are in the same level, following all that instructions as and when the leader is commanding. So all these things are said to be a training. So teach the child why you are going to masjid. not how to pray. How to pray is, yes, of course, they will be learning it because picker will be there and they have to learn about all that. But why to learn? Why to go to masjid? Why are you doing this? What you need to do? This is very important. Tell the child about all these, the whys behind all your rules and regulations. Most of us don't communicate this, and this becomes a habit, or the child becomes very aggressive because the child doesn't know the rules. I mean, he knows the rules, but he doesn't know why is behind all that rules and regulations. So the fundamentals that you have set in your house. So this is very important. So also make it a point that, as Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, you have to teach your child swimming and horse riding and archery. So why did Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam say this? This is because of that concept, how to have concentration in your studies, how to help in that leadership quality to build, and how you can have that team spirit. So sports, basically, I would say, was encouraged by Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So we also need to encourage this sportsmanship and have that spirit in our children. Next is the 14 to 21 stage, or the third stage where the child is reaching 14 years to 21 years. Now, this is something called the friendship stage, where hardly parents are friendly with their children. This is the teenage most crucial period, and nobody wants to be in that state where you have that bonding. Very few parents have this, but Islam says that this is the right way, the right time to be very close to your child, because so this is very important for all the parents. The age of the teenagers are meant to have that close bonding. Unfortunately, we don't have this, particularly at this particular time. I mean, the contemporary issues that we have. Children want to be independent. Parents don't want. Parents want to set them, always under rules and regulations only, and bombarding them with all kinds of limitations. So this cannot happen. We have to have that mutual understanding and balance between everything, and try to see that you have a better bonding first, and then start regulating all these things. Okay, so another. So I would like to talk about the screen addictions right now, like why children are not able to listen to us. It's all about the screens, and screen has become a big problem, or I would say challenging for all the parents out there. Okay, the first thing that we need to do is about having some rules and regulations. Set some boundaries. It's all right, even if you just explain it to them why you are doing it. Maybe the health hazards, you can explain to them. You can show them exactly the pictures, what has happened after screen addiction, what are the drawbacks that children are facing right now. All that things you can tell me. So it is, the research says that almost 64% of children are into addictions because they are into mobiles for more than 3 hours. So imagine, it is going to harm that society, and the health hazards also is in the alarming state now. So tell them what happens. So these are the reasons that we are setting some boundaries. So when you set some boundaries, I would personally recommend that you should tell them that 1 hour before sleep and 1 hour after sleep, you will not have mobiles. No mobiles before 1 hour, no mobiles after 1 hour of sleep. And secondly, even during meals, no mobiles at all. So this has to be compulsorily followed even by the parent, because role model is that which the child sees and learns more. Be the best role model. So even parents should see to it that you don't watch anything, even though it is important, I agree, but not before sleep. So manage that timings. You have to do it by yourself and try to manage it. The second thing is have a fixed schedule, or you can fix a time, maybe one hour or half an hour or 10 minutes. So it's up to you. It's your preference. You can do it as and when you want. The third point is always see to it that you use some alternatives. For example, what I prefer is some sensory activities that you can give for your first stage child, that is 0 to 7 years. You have lots and lots of sensory activities that you can give it to your children. Because see, grabbing the mobile, snatching from their hands is not the solution. What are you going to give in return? See, they are also getting bored, right? They get bored, and that's why they want some entertainment. So, what can you do, and how can you become the best entertainer at home? Try to think in that perspective. What can you do to make your child engaging, or see to it that the child is doing certain activities? So 0 to 7 years, you get a lot of sensory activities. Try to browse that and you can use that. 7 to 14 years, you can use some memory techniques, some memory games. You can play with your child. Okay, this brings a lot of impact. What we have done, I'm telling you this personally because I have experienced it. I have done it by myself, and this is tried and tested. So inshallah, try to use that particular brain activities or some memory games. This is really going to help you a lot, and that brings a lot of bonding between you and your child as well. So try to do that. The third thing is, if you have the child who is 14 to 21 years, start doing something along with you, like maybe cooking or some painting or art, whatever the hobbies are. Try to do it together. Or you can even have ask child to have some sudoku to be to complete one sudoku can be done even with small children. Okay, it's like even the 7-year-old child can do some picture sudoku, some simple sudoku patterns can be solved. Even small children can do it. So again, 14 to 21 years, you can have some case studies. You can have even some kind of mind mapping games also can be done. So this becomes very creative and age based. You can see what you can do as per your children's age. That's what we have. Okay, now I would like to give a small things about or insights about why our children are not listening to us. What is the reason our children don't listen? The very first thing is we don't respect them. How many of you agree we don't respect our own children? Had it been one-sided, that you expect your child to respect you, but you don't respect on the other hand, then there's no point at all, because you cannot expect that in return. You have to give respect, and only then you can receive it. Right? We say, of course, we tell that I really respect children, but by default, we have been trained, or our programming of the mind has been in such a level that we hardly respect our children. So try to go in depth about this. I have already shared some videos on respecting children. So try to trace that video, and you can. If I get that, I will be even sharing that link here, inshallah. The second thing is lack of communication. Our children, we don't have communication at all, I would say. Children don't communicate with parents because parents are also not communicating to their children. I mean to say, communication is not just, okay, keep your things here, your books are to be kept here in place, and write your homeworks, complete your studies. This is not communication. Communication means having some kind of thoughts to be exchanged, some kinds of relationship. You need to understand the emotions of the child, and he needs to understand what are your expectations and all that. So this is very important. So communication means you need to go in depth about the thoughts and emotions of the child. I'm not talking about these tasks that you are commanding them or asking them to complete. Those are not called communications at home. The third thing is, children don't listen because there are so many distractions around us. There are so many distractions. It's not just about mobile I'm talking about. There are other distractions, maybe friends and peers, some music, some kind of social media. So everything is there, and this is creating a problem. So they don't listen to you. They don't want to listen. because there are some other things which are prioritized more by the child itself. He feels that is more important. Okay, so see to it that you set some things, make you should see to it that the child is prioritizing you more than anything else in the world. How can you do it? Need to figure out all that by yourself. Now, the fourth point is we have we have just the some limits are there, some boundaries are we have already set, but children don't know the whys. I told you in the previous just some time ago, I told about all these things. Why our children are not listening? Because they don't know why should we do all these things? What are the limitations? Why my parents are doing this? Why they are not allowing me to go here and there? Why are they not allowing me to sit here? They're not talking to each other. Why are they not allowing me to talk to certain people? What is the reason behind this? So everything is to be explained to them. Only then the child is, thinking logically, okay, yes, what my parents say is true. He may counter question also sometimes. Try to answer that very calmly. Not be rude and don't be too stubborn in your actions. Fourth point is there are hormonal changes that takes place, and that's the reason they don't feel like listening to you. Okay, the mood swings that you have, the mood swings that they have during that particular time, it has to be understood and it has to be felt, acknowledged by the parent itself. So once you start acknowledging that and understand the feelings and respect the child is able to talk to you. He feels free that okay, my parent is like me, and I can feel that I can talk. So if he's feeling comfortable with you, if he's feeling okay, I can talk and I can express my feelings, then he will be feeling that safe and secure, and he is able to openly come and communicate without any fear. Once that is done, he will be listening. The sixth point, which is very, very important, is we are poor role models. We don't listen to our children. How many of us really listen? It's not about listening in the sense, I don't say it's by scrolling the mobile, we just haha, yes, I know. Yes, okay. That's not the way of listening. Having eye contact, talking to each other with full focus and concentration, and yes, without any judgmental thoughts, just listening to the child. This is called listening. And as parents, we need to do this. Otherwise, it becomes such a problem that the child feels when my parents are not validating my emotions and they don't understand my emotions and feelings, why should I talk to them? They don't feel like listening to you as well at that particular time. Okay, understand this clearly and try to think about this matter in depth. And the seventh point is about the power struggle. Now the child is feeling, I don't want to listen because my parents are forcing me to do it. Now this happens when you're forcing your child that this friend of yours is not good for you. What you need to do? You need to stay away from this friend, and you're forcing the child to come out of that friendship. You say that this he is telling lies, or maybe this person is not fit for you as a pure, he should not be in your circle. So you force your child to stop having any contact. Now the child feels, why should I do it? What is the reason? How dare she comes and tells about my parent, about my friend? What she knows about my friend? What does she know? Now that power struggle comes into force, and they don't want to listen. The eighth point is too many negations from our end. Children don't want to listen because you say too many things that the child should not be doing. For example, don't do this, don't go there, don't eat this. So many no's and negations at home makes the child get frustrated. What else is there for me to do? So give them some choices. Ask them to take that decisions. Okay, let them take decision by themselves, and then see. You can suggest and say, if this is the case and this is happening, what would you suggest? What would you do? So try to talk. I know it takes a little more time, but this is how you need to build that relations and say negations. Don't directly tell no, but ask few questions and ask them to retaliate and then see what is good and what is bad. Ninth point, it may be, I'm not telling you, there are reasons that the child is seeking attention, and possibilities are high that the child is trying to outburst sometimes by showing some negative patterns. For example, the child is not listening, maybe banging the door and doing things that you don't want the child to do. These are some of the traits of attention seeking as well. So try to figure out why my child is doing this. Is he really seeking attention? Does he want attention? Because we don't pay attention to those people, to our children, when they are fine, when they are good enough. For example, when they're playing by themselves, we don't go to see even, or we don't even bother what is happening there, right? But when the child is crying, only then we go and listen, or we go near that child, and the child feels okay. When I cry, I'll be getting attention. When I don't listen, people will come and talk to me. People will sit and make me, compel me, or maybe sometimes they just cuddle me. All that they do only when I don't listen to them. So they stop listening and seek attention. Maybe that is a reason. And the 10th point, maybe it is because they are getting overwhelmed. They are getting overwhelmed with all that, what the stress, the expectations that you have, maybe the academical stress that they have. So some things which, even teachers are also giving that pressure. All that things is making the child overwhelmed. He feels stressed, anxiety is there in him, and that's the reason he may not be listening to you. So these are some of the points that I wanted to mention here. As parents, we need to understand in depth about these things. This will surely help you in your long run. Hope you like all these tips and hacks that I've mentioned here. Just let me know in the comment section which is your favorite tip that you are going to apply in your life and help your family to overcome the challenges here. Okay, inshallah. So let me know about this, and signing off right now, inshallah. So let me know in the comment section what is that one learning that you got at least from this particular video. Goodbye for now. Assalamu alaikum.